Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a brand new video, and it's something totally different. Now listen, Comic Storian, Comics Explained, they are fantastic at what they do. Like seriously, well done guys, brilliant, they are brilliant at what they do. But the world of comics is so massive. There is just so much out there, particularly in DC and Marvel, but also past that. I'm not saying I'm just sticking to DC and Marvel if this becomes a thing. But there is so much out there to do. And I think as I'm going to be experiencing more and more comics, I'm not saying I've read everything. I'm not saying I know the histories of everything. I probably don't know much compared to half the people watching this video. But I want to know. I want to learn. And the best way to do that is be reading through it. And I figured the best way for me to read through it is speaking about it with you guys on the video. So yeah, it's going to be similar to Comic Storian. Well, actually probably similar more to Comics Explained than Comic Storian. For the people who watch those types of videos, it's probably similar to those more than anything. We are starting with the Green Arrow. So listen, if you guys do like this video, I'm going to remind you now, I'll probably remind you during and maybe after as well. If you like this video and you want to see more of this type of video with the Green Arrow, with other superheroes, Batman, Superman, over at Marvel you got Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Deadpool, the list goes on and on and on and on, and not just character runs. You've got big events. You've got the likes of Crisis on Infinite Earths, with that big crossover happening on DC TV right now. That's pretty important. You've also got the likes of the Infinity War. You've got just so much Secret Wars. You've got just so much I want to get into, and yeah, let's see how it goes, shall we? We'll start with Green Arrow. We'll start with Rebirth. But my point is, I keep getting distracted. My point is, if you liked it, like the video. And please do subscribe, hit the bell. You know the drill. Come on, let's go. Green Arrow Rebirth. Boom. The Green Arrow Oliver Queen is a superhero that has taken an unexpected resurgence in the last 20 years. I mean, he died in the late 90s. He really should have seen the end of the character. I mean, really, at that time, the Green Arrow was not really popular. He wasn't selling well, and for a character that had been around for so many years, they've been involved in so many important storylines. Maybe not at the top of the DC sort of pyramid. Obviously, you've got the trio at the top. You've got Wonder Woman. You've got Batman. You've got Superman. But Green Arrow has sort of way broke through society at times. Particularly, obviously, with Speedy and the drug addiction, which was just a massive storyline at the time. So when Kevin Smith's Quiver came out in the early 2000s, couple that with Andy Diggle's Year One, the Green Arrow was suddenly alive again and resurgent as a comic book character, and it was massive for the character, particularly where it leads to obviously the brilliant Arrow TV show. What a TV show that is, by the way. Wow, what a fantastic TV show, particularly those first 2 seasons. Amazing. And then that obviously led to the Arrowverse, and all of a sudden it's helped comic book characters be more and more popular in modern day society. Would that have happened without Quiver or Andy Diggle's Year One? Who knows, to be honest with you, who knows. So when it comes to DC Rebirth, Oliver Queen was affected in an interesting way. So late into the New 52 run, Benjamin Percy was brought on as a writer, and he stayed on for I think it's like 12 issues at the end of the New 52, and he must have done well enough, because he impressed the bosses well enough that he was given the gig for the Rebirth run. And now DC Rebirth, that anybody that doesn't know, is well, it was a way for DC to really start again in their continuity. So New 52 was also that in a way, but there were a lot of issues that they found in the New 52, and DC Rebirth was a way to revamp the DC comic landscape, I guess. And well, for the most part it worked, and we'll find that out along the journey. I will say I've heard great things about this particular comic line, the Green Arrow Rebirth run. I mean, I've heard fantastic things, particularly about Benjamin Percy, or Ben Percy as he likes to be known, as far as I'm aware, according to online. That's all I know. I don't know him. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? As far as I know, it's meant to be a really good comic, and obviously being a Green Arrow fan, probably partially from the TV show as it started, but then you read more and more and more, and what's not to like about Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. So we start with Rebirth, Green Arrow Rebirth #1. This is the first one in this volume, so to speak, and we pick up with Oliver on a date, and well, yeah, it goes badly. It's a Republic senator's daughter, by the way, that's storming away there. Straight away, I'm like, well, I wonder if that's going to come in handy at some point later in the storyline. We'll find out, won't we? Oliver Queen and dating, yeah, it doesn't go well unless it's a certain few people, and we'll find that out later. Even in this comic, we'll find out about one of them. Just hint, saying. Oliver is actually more annoyed about this date, that she didn't like his beard. Now, obviously, the Oliver Queen goatee is famous in the comic book world, and how can she not like his beard? Look at it, it's beautiful. What a beard. I mean, right, moving on. This is where the story then starts to actually show something immediately on the first page, and I really like that about how the comic kicks into gear. It's not messing about with anything. Oliver Queen giving money to a homeless person may not seem important, but straight away we see that there's some danger. Something is lurking in the sewers and attacking homeless people, and that's where this story starts, particularly with Green Arrow Rebirth Volume 1. Oliver's inner monologue at the start of the comic is quite interesting here, though, because he speaks about feeling more comfortable as the Green Arrow rather than the CEO playboy type Oliver Queen, and that's really interesting because the Green Arrow is a character that for the longest time has been compared to Batman. That they're both vigilantes, rich playboy in the modern world. They've both got no superpowers, but they try and protect their city being a vigilante. And Oliver Queen and Batman, you can see the comparisons. And this is another similarity right here, because the Batman, particularly in recent years, has been known for feeling more comfortable as the Bat and not as Bruce Wayne. And Green Arrow seems to be going the same sort of route here. I quite like it. I quite like it for the story, to be fair. Saying he believes the Green Arrow is the real him and that Oliver Queen is his cover, which is interesting really when you think it should be the other way around. Anyway, he's out here protecting the homeless. He thinks he's protecting the homeless anyway, but it turns out it is not a homeless person he is protecting. It is the Black Canary. Now, the Black Canary is somebody that has a long history with the Green Arrow in the comics, and this is where DC Rebirth gets a little bit interesting, because in theory it's meant to be a brand new start. The Green Arrow has only been superheroing, so to speak, for only a number of years. We don't know what in the past storylines are real things and what aren't, and we find out quickly that the Black Canary and the Green Arrow have met once before, but just once, so they do hardly know each other here. So we get to really see this story unfold, which is nice. So they help a homeless child, to clean himself up, and the kid reveals that it is the underground men who are taking people. Now, this is an interesting one. The underground men are a brand new villain, never been seen before, but brand new in this line of comic, which is interesting. I like that. I like that. Start new, start big. The underground people, or the underground men, so to speak, and we'll see where that leads. Now, Canary, Black Canary, Dinah Lance, is hilarious in this exchange. She just totally calls out Oliver Queen for being a social justice warrior, yet he lives in a penthouse. And yeah, he's enjoying his riches. So, I mean, it's a completely fair point. He's a rich man. He talks about fighting the establishment, but in a lot of ways, he is the establishment. He's doing a lot of good things for the city, but that's with his money. And the idea that he detests the other people in control that are rich is quite laughable at times. So I love the way Canary just calls out one of the biggest character flaws the Green Arrow has and just calls him out on it. I love that. Love it. We move on to take the child back to a homeless camp called The Jungle, which is just a I mean, look at the place. It's trees. It just reminds me of Tarzan. That's what it reminds me of for some reason. This establishment, this community in the trees. Oh, it's brilliant. A fantastic name as well. The Jungle. So simple, yet so lovely. There is a scene here that, as we said, the continuity for DC Rebirth gets a little bit wobbly, because Canary does reference the huge important drug addiction story that really put Green Arrow on the map in the 80s. As she puts a mention to Speedy, who's not involved at the moment, but we know he's out there with this mention, which is good. Oliver also gives reference to his origin as well, with a shipwreck and the island, but all that stopped when the underground men turn up at the jungle. Now, this isn't meant to be a massive fight. This isn't meant to be a big comic book fight, because this is the Green Arrow and the Black Canary against a bunch of henchmen in a way. We'll find out that the underground men are just henchmen. They're just goons. They get beaten up. Canary and Arrow quickly deal with them. And then they find out that an auction is taking place below. Wherever below is, we're not sure at this moment. I mean, it just sounds creepy anyway. Below. An auction is taking place below. It's just creepy. Fine. Right, okay, kind of fits them. They look like zombies, they look like dead people. They're the underground men, and they have an auction going on underground. So yeah, logical. As they investigate, you get more and more dialogue between the two, and this is what I love about this first Green Arrow Rebirth issue. This is purely about these two. The underground men are there as good sort of storyline continuation to build to something else, but the actual conversation between Canary and Arrow is stunning. You can really start to see these two coming together. It's all about reconnecting the Green Arrow and the Black Canary. Now listen, they put a stop to the slave auction, they save the woman's life, and they send a message to whoever is behind all this. We see it's a man in a red mask on the screen. He seems to be controlling the underground people. The underground men, so is the actual words. And they send a message straight away to him. The Green Arrow is going to hunt him down. And that's worth mentioning. The final bit of the issue is hugely important too, as both heroes officially reveal their identities to each other. Now listen, it's straight away, by the way. This is like first second time they've met, I guess. And the fact that we're seeing it straight away is huge. Benjamin Percy is wasting no time at all. He's sticking these two together the way a lot of old-fashioned comic book readers think it should be. And I love the idea that this grounded, secretive, untrusting person like Oliver Queen opens up just like that for Dinah Lance. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, it's the Green Arrow. It's the Black Canary. It's the way it should be.